innovations is happening in cities. We are the learning, living laboratory. And I want to thank you who have embraced this back home in your cities. We need a future where our residents and the police have a relationship that is built on trust and community. Where being black in America doesn't mean you are 3 times more likely to have your car searched in a traffic stop, or 6 times more likely to be arrested. A future where the color of your skin doesn't predetermine your life's outcomes, your access to education, your earning potential, or your chance at fair treatment from our institutions and policies. We must build a future where every one of us has economic mobility and opportunity. And we must be intentional about promoting equity in all of our policies and projects. And that work begins right here in Pittsburgh. So I am charging all of our committees and councils to make economic mobility and opportunity a pillar that supports our work in America's cities. You know, the future belongs to the cities and towns who can help their residents achieve their dreams, where everyone can participate and succeed, and are invested in the future. When we talk about the future, it's important to understand where we come from. So I want to tell you a little bit about my past. I grew up in the Detroit-Shorey neighborhood on the Lower West Side of Cleveland. From its founding, Detroit-Shorey was a neighborhood that was open to immigrants and minorities who were seeking economic opportunity. The neighborhood first attracted German and Irish immigrants. And as the city was rapidly expanding as a manufacturing center for people who were coming here for jobs, that community was growing. And my grandparents immigrated from Italy in the early 1900s and settled in the Detroit-Shorey neighborhood. It's a tight-knit community. My dad, Michael J. Thone. He grew up across the street from my mother. And before they got married, my dad left to go serve in World War II. But like many Italian Catholic families, they had a lot of kids. I had 8 brothers and sisters, and with a family that large, you really understand equity. In fact, my mother used to tell me, I love all my children. I just need to love some a little more than others. Right, Beth? My parents started a small business, the Zone Food Market. And 7 years later, they started a travel agency. By the time I was born, my father was already serving on Cleveland City Council. He worked hand in hand with my mother for more than 14 years, serving the members of my community. A community that throughout the 1960s and 70s was growing increasingly diverse. And he also became active in the National League of Cities. He became active in NLC and getting involved and going to conferences like this one today. My dad suffered a fatal heart attack in 1974 when he was just 54 years old.